co-host, my inspiration for this show, Danielle Brody. Give it up.
Hi everyone. Thank you again for being here. Thank you, Robin. I feel like we're making our rabbi very proud tonight. I'm starting the second half of the show. I just want us to have another round of applause for the first half. So, like I said before, I make cartoons, but a lot of people ask me how I got into comedy. So, any guesses why that might happen? Why I would get into comedy? I'm just gonna point to people. All right, you in the back. Why do you think I got into comedy? A side gig. Okay, sure. Yes, because I'm making lots of money in my side gig of comedy. This is a free show. But I think I'm getting paid in Kugel and Clout. Kugel and Clout. That's a good name. Okay. No, I started doing comedy because I have trauma. And I think processing it on stage is way cheaper than processing it in therapy, in front of strangers. And then a lot of people ask me like how I got into producing shows. I'm not going to ask you because you guys weren't good at that the first time. I'm just going to tell you. I started producing shows to get revenge. Yes. I know that's what you were all thinking. So I have a rivalry with a Jewish publication. We're going to call it, I don't want to name names, we're going to call it High News for Jews. I made that up. I think it'd be cute though. Yes, it is a one-sided rivalry. No, they don't know I exist. And that's actually the problem. So, this is just so high. Like, Eddie's really tall, and it kind of freaks me out. No offense, Eddie. When I came up before, I was like, who was here before we were practicing? Okay, so this publication, we have a rivalry. Like I said, I made cartoons, I produced shows, I made a Hanukkah book, I made a game called Mitzvah Roshana. It's on sale if you want to get it. There's a merch table. I made a Haggadah. Like, yes, thank you. I don't understand that, but right. The story basically writes itself. But I emailed High News for Jews and I told them about my Haggadah, and they wrote back and said, we won't write about you. It's not right for us. Like, okay, then, like, why the fuck not? Right? Like, it's a Jewish publication. So I started reading some of their articles to see, like, what is right for them. And I'm going to give you some sample headlines of topics that they would write about or have written about. So, for example, they would write something like, this celebrity went to Shabbat once. Here are 10 things to know about them. And guys, like, this is a real publication, so if you know it, like, then you know. But if not, I'm explaining. Another topic that they might write about is, I grew up Catholic, but then I took a 23andMe test and realized that I'm actually Jewish. So then I told my dad, but he wouldn't accept me. So I had my rabbi talk to his priest, and now we all have Shabbat together every week. They also might write something like, actually they did, that's like, I went on a date with someone and then they revealed to me that they were a Nazi. Here's how I learned to love myself. And I realized, like, I just don't fall into any of those coverage areas. Like, sorry that I grew up with 2 Jewish parents, and I'm not a celebrity, and I, like, don't date Nazis. So back to the rivalry. Last year, they reject me, and I realized that they're doing a Passover comedy show. So what do? I'm like, I'm gonna show them, I'll produce my own Passover comedy show. I don't know what I showed them. Like, it's not like our shows were on the same night. I didn't steal any ticket sales from them. I didn't steal any of their comedians. I didn't get, like, coverage from another Jewish publication. But it did make me realize that, like Moses, I was chosen to do this for the Jewish people. And now here we are. dad taught me this. Anytime we're rejected, it's just like, well, they're anti-Semitic. It's really hard to call this Jewish publication anti-Semitic, but I do think that they're anti-Danielle, and that's just as bad. There's actually a parade this weekend on Fifth Avenue for the anti-Danielles. I recently reached out to this venue to see if I could do a show there. I did a show there before, and I was like, can I come back? And they said no, because they said I don't have a big enough following. I'm sorry, do you see the room tonight? Yeah. So, yeah, also, like, fuck them. But, so I tell my dad, they said no to me, and he was like, well, obviously they're anti-Semitic. And I was like, Dad, I mean, they're not, because they let me do my Jewish show there a few months ago, and they hosted that Passover show that High News for Jews did. And then I was like, wait a second. Both High News for Jews and this unnamed venue, it's not here, won't, like, they both hate me. So, like, obviously they're talking about me. So, like, I'm doing something right. So when that venue said no to me, my dad was like, well, like, who will take you? Like, go to the synagogues. Unfortunately, I've already been sort of blacklisted by 2 of them. That's a whole other story, maybe next time. So I'm like, who will take me? Solas Bar. There's a nice Irishman that works here who we text. I don't think he knows what we do, but he lets us come. That works for me. So like I said before, I'm dating. I'm not dating Nazis. I'm going in a different direction. I'm dating Jews. And I was telling my dad about my dating life, as one does. And I was like, Dad, like, I keep dating these guys, and they're telling me that they, like, smoke weed every night to deal with their anxiety. And he was like, he had a lot of issues with this. I thought we were going to focus more on the weed, but he was like, why are they anxious? Okay. He was like, why are you dating all these anxious men? You shouldn't be dating anxious men. I was like, Dad, I'm only dating Jews. Like, they're all anxious. I think my family was spoiled because my last boyfriend didn't have anxiety. He also wasn't Jewish. Sometimes I thought that he was boring. And then I realized that he just, like, is happy. He doesn't have any trauma, and he's a very well-adjusted human being. He's doing great. Okay, thank you. See, no anti-Daniellers here, I love it. Okay, where was I? We were dating. And while we were dating, he learned a lot about me. Like, I myself am anxious, I'm a little dramatic, I'm an oversharer, I'm a hypochondriac. And I was introducing him to Jewish life. And we started with bagels, we worked our way up to Shabbat. And I brought him to a Shabbat dinner. And one girl starts talking about her therapy session. Another girl starts telling a very dramatic story. Another one asked us to look at this, like, cyst on her neck because she thought she had cancer. It was just a swollen lymph node. She's fine. But I was like, oh shit, why did I bring him here? He's gonna realize, like, I don't have a unique personality. I'm just Jewish. And these girls are doing it way better than I ever did. Once Rachel took him to the corner to teach him the Shabbat prayers, I was like, I'm gonna lose him. And that bitch knew the full Kaddish. And I only know, like, the first line, so I was like, fuck, she's so much hotter than I am. I didn't lose him that night, but lost him later. To a breakup, it was fine. But, no, usually when I don't like someone or they're an ex, I'm like, they're dead, but, like, they're alive. Like that Jewish publication is dead to me. But anyway, no, I'm dating again, and I have a rule that I won't date Israelis. Good thing Barack left. And I have experience. Like, I've dated them and it's gone badly. And I think that that's just proof, like, if we're getting into Israel, that you can like Israel and like be pro-Israel, but not like everything about it. That's what got me kicked out of the synagogue. For example, like, I want to go to Israel later this year, and I'm just planning to avoid half the population. So I am more on the liberal side, but when I had an Israeli boyfriend, let's call him Nir. And while I was dating him, like, you would think that I was like a gun-toting, MAGA hat-wearing, like, Trump supporter. Because we had this conversation where I was like, hey Nir, you're being an asshole. And he, like, literally, this is what he said back. In my country, I'd be considered a nice guy. Yeah. And so I said, well then go back to your country. And when he said no, I was like, okay, cool, I'm just gonna call ICE. Okay, we don't love that. He's still in New York, I think. Well, I'll ask Barack. A lot of these brothers know each other. Okay, anyway. So I was like, even for me, like, that's a low, and I was like, it's definitely over. And he called me later that night, and I was like, oh, are you calling to break up with me? And he's like, no, I'm just calling to tell you that I love you. I was like, what? I was such an asshole. And he goes, well, in my country, that you'd be considered a nice girl. And I was like, oh, okay. He's like, yeah, it's really hot when you act Israeli. So now we're together and I'm writing about it. Finally, I'm getting into high news for Jews. That's the kind of stories that they like to hear about, getting my coverage. That's it. I think that's all I have. So thank you very much. I'm going to bring up the next comedian, and that was a lot to memorize, so I have to look at my phone for her bio. One sec. You're all very patient. Okay, next up is Polina. No, Matt. Sorry, Matt. Wait, I have an intro. Okay, he is the coordinator. I'm so bad at this. We can't do it all, right? Also, I just wanted to say, if anybody here works for that publication, I'm willing to put all of the drama behind us if they want to do an interview.